We're a family of 7. There's my husband Jason, myself. We have a blended family of 5 children. There's Taylor, Brianna, Manuel, Kaylee, and Jackson. Jackson's the youngest. Jackson was 2.5 when he was diagnosed with acute lymphoblastic leukemia on July 2nd, 2014. 2 weeks prior to Jackson's diagnosis, we were on vacation with some friends.
Well, initially, at the beach, the first thing we noticed is his color wasn't really right, Didn't really think a lot of it, And then that night, he actually got sick, Again, kids get sick, that's part of it.
The next evening, we were headed down to the beach to take some pictures. And on the way down, I was taking pictures of Jackson, and I just had this overwhelming feeling of sadness come over me because I had a vision that Jackson was going on a journey and I couldn't go with him, and I started to cry.
Michelle was really worried about it, more so than normal. So the next day we made the decision to go ahead and come home.
My husband took him to the pediatrician and they did some tests, and I was working at the time when I got the call from my husband. He said, "We're on our way to Children's," and I asked him why, and he didn't answer. And at that moment, my heart sank.
When the doctor tells you, that they're going to test your son for leukemia, I got hit with a ton of bricks. As a parent, watching your child go through this, it's, it's different. It's different phases of reaction, and emotion of what you go through. Overall, especially in the beginning, it's helplessness. Any problem your child has, it's my job as dad to fix it, and this is one I couldn't fix.
I feel like you've been swooped up into a tornado, and then once you get the diagnosis, it's like you've just been dropped. And at the same time, you're relieved because you know that there's a protocol in place, that the prognosis is good.
My expectations in the beginning are nowhere near the reality of his situation. I expected the kid that was always tired, sick, nauseous, that kind of thing. And luckily with him, we haven't really had a lot of that to deal with. He's still a ball of energy, still running, playing, doing all the things that a normal kid does, unfortunately within the confines of the house. With the lowered immune system and all that, we don't get to go, we don't get to go to the park, to the mall, to the movies. So the biggest change for him is, I guess, the confinement of having to stay at home all the time and avoid public interaction.
Jackson has been in treatment for 7 months. He's responding excellent. He is almost to the maintenance phase, which we're really looking forward to because we'll get to take him out to do things. He'll get to go swimming and have a summer that he didn't get to have last year.
For Jackson's future, I see a bright future. He, as of right now, he's going through more than any 2 or 3-year-old should. If he can get through this, he can get through anything in life. He could look at someone and say, "I beat cancer when I was 3, what did you do?" I think it's going to breed a lot of character in him. I think he's going to be a stronger person for this, on the other side.
Our hope in sharing Jackson's story is that people can see that he isn't being knocked down by this, that he is still the same lively little boy that he's always been, and this cancer isn't going to get the best of him.
My name is Lily. I go to Grace Christian Academy. I'm 14 years old. I'm in 9th grade, and I was diagnosed last year, September 30th, with ALL T-cell leukemia.
Lily is sweet and tender-hearted and has a great group of friends, and she's our little fashionista, Anytime we're trying to put an outfit together or getting ready to leave, we always have Lily give us the once over, and she'll give us a scarf or a necklace or tell us we need pearls instead of dangly earrings, or run and get us a bracelet. That's kind of her little niche. And but she's a good girl. Good girl.
When I first found out I had leukemia, I was kind of like confused, and I was kind of in the mind state of, why did this happen to me? Why did God choose to, place this on me? It was kind of like a punch in the stomach. So I was so scared.
We just have an excellent support system. I tell my girls, we may not be a conventional family, but we have, grandparents and aunts and uncles and, cousins and just great friends. And so everybody kind of rallied around us. It was just amazing to see just so many people from so many places that just committed to pray for us daily, and just to see how the Lord worked in just little ways, from somebody bringing me a hot cup of coffee in the morning, just not coming in, just a cup of coffee, to, big things. It was amazing.
The first thing that I asked was, am I going to lose my hair? I was so upset because I had long curly hair, and that was what everyone had always complimented me on.
And a dear friend of ours knew a lady that cut hair, and she talked to her, and she came to our house. So I went first because I thought it would make it easier for Lily if they shaved my head first so she could see it and know what was happening. After seeing me, I think that helped her a little bit. So she sat down, and she really did all right. And then my mom shaved her head. So she made our picture and posted it on Instagram, and she really did, she struggled some. And that, of all the sick, and she was sick, but the hair was the hardest part.
I've learned that I'm a lot stronger than I thought I was. I thought that I was kind of like this 13-year-old girl that just, went through the motions and kind of didn't really think that if push came to shove, I could be strong enough to go through something like this.
She went into maintenance in probably late April, early May. She was able to go back to school in the fall. School worked with us, and so she had to do a lot of school this summer, but she was in 8th grade when she was diagnosed. But they worked with her so she could start in high school, and that was really important that Lily stay with her class. So one day I had taken her to school to work on her English. She was trying to get finished up, and it was close to when school started. And she'd run into some of the the faculty was there, and she'd run into some of the teachers, and we were talking about that and how good it was and how excited she was to go back to school. And we were just driving down the road, chatting, and then there was a moment of silence, and then Lily said, "Mom," and I could tell that she was crying, and I looked over at her, and she had tears running down her face, and she looked at me and she said, "Mom, I'm back. I'm back. I'm really back." And so she, we've decided that if you can just be normal, you're really doing good.
Being back into the normal groove of being a teenager and being back in school and stuff, it definitely felt like a big huge weight is lifted off your shoulders. You just feel extremely happy because you get to see your friends and you get to see just a regular day.
Lily's class nominated her to be their candidate for homecoming queen. So when Lily came home, she was all excited, and we cried. And so one of the first things she said is, "Can we go to Nana and Papa's?" And I said, "Well, sure." She said, "I've got to ask my Papa if he'll escort me."
I have an awesome family. It's made us closer. We spend more time with each other. We talk to each other more, and we're more buddies now than we used to be.
I see Lily totally different than I used to. I see her strength and her character and her joy of life. And she just was so graceful. She wasn't a complainer. She's a tender-hearted, sweet, good girl, and sometimes you see how sweet she is, and you don't realize how really strong she is, but she is a fighter.
My name's Ashley Adkins. I am from Crossville, Tennessee. I've lived in Knoxville for 19 years, and I currently work at the Knoxville Chamber of Commerce, and I'm in my 11th year there.
My name's Tony Geist. I work at WBIR as a commercial producer. I'm not really from any place in particular because I've lived in 13 states, but I like to consider Knoxville home because I've lived here about cumulative 6 years, so Knoxville's home to me.
My name is Christy Sieber. I'm from Knoxville, Tennessee. I'm a regional sales manager with AllMed's Electronic Health Record and Practice Management.
My name is Amber Young, and I am from Maryville, Tennessee, and I'm a trust officer with First Tennessee Bank. I've been there almost 9 years. I'm also the head dance coach at Wayne-Blount High School. I've been coaching there for almost 13 years, and I also have a travel agency.
My name is Grant Scalf. I'm from Knoxville, here locally, born and raised. I own CrossFit K-Town and CrossFit Farragut, 2 CrossFit gyms here locally. Been training people with CrossFit for the past about 8 years now.
My name is Maura Doyle. I'm 26 years old and I'm from Chattanooga. I am currently a student at Chattanooga State trying to get into the nursing program.
My name is Rachel Trump. I'm originally from Kingsport, Tennessee, and I moved to Knoxville about 11 years ago to attend UT. I am the Director of Economic Development for the Blount Partnership. So I get to work with the great folks in Blount County to recruit industries and to help existing companies grow.
My name is Josh Ford, and I work in radio here in Knoxville on sports radio WNML, formerly the Sports Animal, and I've been with Cumulus and the stations here, WIVK, News Talk 98.7 for about 13 years. So had a chance to host a midday sports talk show for the last 6 or 7 years and work with some pretty incredible people on the 3 stations in our building.
What inspired me the most to become a candidate is my grandfather was diagnosed with lymphoma in 1994, and he lost his battle with lymphoma in 2009. So I felt really inspired to tell his story, celebrate his life, remember him, also to raise awareness in hopes of finding a cure.
What inspired me to accept the nomination was really my lack of knowledge of leukemia and lymphoma and the blood cancers altogether. I consider myself a pretty bright guy, and I didn't know a whole lot about it. So I think it's an opportunity for me to learn more about LLS as a foundation, the blood cancers in general, and raise money for a great cause at the same time.
2 years ago, I was diagnosed with acute myeloid leukemia, and now I would like to help others who are battling or will be battling with leukemia or lymphoma.
My husband was diagnosed in August of 2013. The diagnosis was extremely difficult. He was feeling fine for a while, and then all of a sudden it was not good, and it was a rough 6 months of intense chemotherapy, and he did not do well to the Neulasta treatments that they give to try to boost his immune system. So it was very difficult to try to support him and support the family while he's down with the cancer.
My best friend died 3 years ago from leukemia, and without her, I have no idea where I would be today. So her passing really just played a profound role in my life. And I looked at this opportunity as, hey, what can I do to make sure that no one has to ever feel like I felt during that time? No one's ever going to lose their best friend again if I can win this campaign, if I can get more money towards finding a cure for these blood cancers.
What inspired me to become a candidate was Samantha Lane, who won Leukemia Lymphoma Woman of the Year last year. She and I were at an event, and we were sort of trading fundraising advice and suggestions. And she told me the story of her mother-in-law and kind of what inspired her to get involved, and I realized what a great cause it was, and she nominated me this year.
a friend of mine through high school that I went to college with, his name's Clinton Van Allen, he found out that he was going to have to battle lymphoma. So it's something that you see the impact that it has on families and people of all different ages, and being in radio and having a microphone and a chance to tell people about what's going on, I just think that's really important. So when I had the opportunity to do it, I knew that I had to.
In the 5th grade, I met Jamar Sensabaugh, who was just an amazing young man, smart, driven, hardworking, a wonderful football player. And his life was taken by leukemia when we were 15. So when I was approached, my first thought was of Jamar and the impact that he had on our community, our school, and the impact that this blood cancer had on him, his family, and all of us. So he's an inspiration in himself.
Running this campaign means a tremendous amount to me because I saw firsthand what having a disease like leukemia or lymphoma can do to a family. It not only puts a tremendous amount of financial hardship on you, but the emotional stress that comes with it, it's second to none. So knowing that running this campaign, all of these dollars are going towards families that really need it, that can really use it, that are down on their luck, they've been to the bottom, this is that glimmer of hope for them to get back to where they need to be. This is that moment that all of those families can look towards and say, that's where it started to get better.
I also think, though, that it's important, and the reason why the campaign, why we should try to reach out to as many people as possible, is to help create awareness. A lot of people aren't even aware that there are so many people that are suffering from the disease.
It means a lot that people care, and because you don't really see people raising money for leukemia, and so it means a lot that people they want to help and they want to find a cure for something that you don't hear much about until you know somebody who's been diagnosed or you're diagnosed yourself.
I think going through personally the experience of someone so close to me, the Hodgkin's lymphoma, that it does make me a better candidate. I think that I have the personal drive and want to raise as much awareness and monetary donations as I certainly can. To watch someone that you love so much be brought to almost death and then just come back to life thanks to the treatment, it is amazing.
This campaign means everything to me. At any point in our lives, we can be faced with illness, conflict, a challenge, and it's important that we have a strong support group and family and friends around us to help us through those difficult times. When I met the little boy and the little girl of the year, I was just really motivated to do a good job for them, to tell their message, to get out there and make an impact and make a difference, because together in our community, I think that we can make so many wonderful changes in hopes of finding a cure for these blood cancers.
Knowing that I'm going to be making a difference for families with leukemia is a very powerful feeling. I know that every dollar that I raise will go to research. I think the research has already come so far in the past 30 or 40 years, and I think it's only picking up speed.
We're so lucky to have an organization like that because they have proven to be successful and responsible stewards of funding they receive. So, the funding's the easy part. We just have to help provide funding for them, and they do the hard work. So really just providing funding and raising awareness for the blood diseases and the impact they have on people and families and communities, and for Leukemia and Lymphoma Society.
Yeah, knowing that you're helping patients and families that are dealing with leukemia, it makes you feel good to be a part of it, but makes me a little nervous though as well. This is a big deal that we're involved with. I've seen people who went through the campaign the last few years and friends that were involved, and they put in a lot of work because they knew how important it was. So to see, we see children that are affected. That hits you pretty hard. And I don't see how you can watch and go through it, and I'm getting a little emotional talking about it right now, but it's a great feeling to be a part of it because you're making an impact, but it's something that you have to put a lot of time in because it's really an important thing. But in the end, I think we're getting a lot of work done doing this campaign, and we're competing against each other, but at the same time we're working together.